This video will walk you through a sample paper on a team case study assignment. And I will post this paper online for you to review, but I wanted to make sure to walk you through the content. So the first section is on facts, and recall that this should give a high-level overview or an executive summary on the case study that you read. In this paper, it's about 1 page long, and you'll notice that it gave a good overview of the case. It tells us who the company is, what they did wrong according to the article, and its current situation with its stakeholders. Overall, it was concise and to the point and should not be more than 2 pages. The next section is on issues. And for instance, my comment here at the beginning is that you want to avoid being conversational or colloquial. This is a professional document that executives would read. So you shouldn't write like you're talking to a casual friend. Okay? So in this section, this group has identified 2 main issues that they want to focus on. So in the first paragraph, they talk about the main issue of cheating by Volkswagen and the implications behind it, why it matters. The main issue here, though, is that although they describe what went wrong, they did not incorporate any concepts from the textbook on why cheating is bad. In particular, I would recommend this group to review Chapter 4 on ethics and social responsibility, and the key concepts that come to mind about this paragraph has to do with stakeholders to the company, in particular the consumers and the environment. Although there are more stakeholders at hand, you don't necessarily have to talk about every single group, but you really want to focus on the main problems that you're going to attempt to solve in subsequent sections. Now in this next paragraph, they talk about the second issue, which is because of the cheating, the company has lost sales and customer confidence. So here they're talking about how that will impact employees who they may have to fire because of the costs of the scandal. However, again, there's no key concepts incorporated. They don't talk about any of the stakeholders from Chapter 4 or any other key concepts from the textbook. Suggestion here would be to avoid use of extreme words like never, always, or obviously. In this case, they use the word obviously, which may not be obvious to a reader and makes the writer sound condescending. So again, be careful of your writing tone. Okay. In the third section, we've got the solutions, and this group has presented 3 solutions for consideration. And so what you'll do here is you'll explain the solution with steps of how to undergo it and why you'd want to do it. And then here they incorporate 2 key concepts from the book. However, they don't define it well enough. Like, I don't know what it means to have a competitive business environment. I also don't know what standard of living means. Although they explain it by linking it to the case study, more analysis is needed. Here you can see what a citation looks like at the end of a sentence. The second solution is to rebuy or purchase back all of the cars, and they've included 2 key concepts here as well. So this is great. They're including 2 key concepts for every solution. Here it's capital and microeconomics. However, I need a definition on what capital means, but here I can see the explanation of why it's being used and the citation. Here, I disagree with the use of microeconomic, but if you were to define and explain it clearly, perhaps I could be swayed otherwise. So that would be an example of how you need to make sure to use the right key concept for the case study. And then they do the same thing again for the third solution. They present another solution with 2 key concepts and citations, but again, I need a clear definition so I know that you know what social responsibility means and who the stakeholders are. This is too vague of a statement. And then the fourth and final section is the judgments. So what you'll do is a pro and con discussion for each of the solutions. So here's solution 1, and they talk about the con and the pro, And they include a key concept, which is great, but I need a definition because I don't know what universal ethical standards means. Here's the second solution, and they've got several pros and several cons, as well as two key concepts here as well. But again, I need a definition and explanation, and you can see that they've missed the citation. It doesn't mention the textbook. And then the third solution, same idea. They've explained the pros and cons. They've incorporated one key concept, but again, they're missing a definition and a citation. And finally, at the end of the judgment section, you'll need to analyze between the three which solution you're picking. In this case, they're saying 1 and 2 is nice but too difficult, and therefore solution 3 should be selected, and they provide a rationale. And then last, you'll have your references, which includes the textbook. So that's an overview of a good paper. This is about an A- or 90%. There are some areas of improvement, but I wanted to use this so that you could see what not to do as well as what you should do.